It is called the Chicken Mission. So in that drama, there's a conversation going on by two people. And the one says, I really want to join a mission, you know. I'm tired with only this, my work in this material world. I want to do something spiritual. And then the other said, oh, come on, you're not going to join any mission. You're doing so many things. I mean, you don't want to give up smoking. The other said, no, I know mission. You don't have to do that. You can still smoke, it's no problem. Oh, come on, but you're not going to join a mission. You're not going to be a vegetarian. No. He said, no problem. In that mission, you can eat chicken, you can eat fish. Everything's okay. And like this. So he's giving all the counter arguments what you can do in the Ramakrishna mission. So that was Prabhupada's slashing the Ramakrishna mission. But in the end of the day, we don't want to fight with the adversaries because we want to conquer their hearts rather. So even with Ramakrishna mission, I personally had a very nice relationship with them through my youth. Before I got to know about Srila Prabhupada, I was reading Vivekananda, and I was thinking Ramakrishna must be a really great personality. So when I joined the temple, it struck me with surprise that all my hero impersonalists, which I had like a little book, like this Chinese ornament books you could get, and I had written all my stars in there, which were the yogis were teaching. I had their photos in there, and there was like, and so one devotee got that book in his hands. His name was Narendra. He was a British devotee, and I was just a few days in Krishna consciousness. I didn't know the difference between impersonalism and Vaishnavism. I hadn't joined because of philosophical clarity. I had joined by my heart's feeling, inclination. So he went and he said, oh, what is this? That's Mayavadi. And then he came to Yogananda, another one of my stars. Oh, he said, just... And I went there like, oh my God. I mean, he put me at that moment in a real faith crisis. No? You mean all the people who brought me here, now they're not good? Huh? And then I had to I had to decide, am I Prabhupada's man or not, you know? So, I don't remember what I did with the book, whether I took the pages out or I just left the book somewhere, but I don't have it. But that was a little bit of the controversy, no? Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he once said, you should not doubt to smash a Mayavadi. Something like that, he said. I don't know exact quotation. But then again, you see myself preaching in and around with so many impersonalists, trying to bring the presence of the Vaishnavas to a forum which is now promoted to the Chief Minister Office of Uttar Pradesh, which is the Yogi Adityanath. He's a Shaivite. He has a huge Shaivite bhakta. He's actually the leader of a whole Gorakhpur Brahmin part of Indian culture. You know, they're the Akaras in India. They're very well established over thousands of years, or who knows how long. And the Akaras, so the Gorakhpur Brahmin is one of those Akaras. And Yogi Adityanath happens to be the chief acharya of that. I think he may even be the son or the first disciple of one of the main founders of the Gorakhpur temple. I mean, the Gorakhpur temple is very old, but making it like something. So now with these people, I'm now in alliance to accomplish certain things. Like Prabhupada tried to work with Indira Gandhi to get good visas for the Western devotees. Now I'm doing the same thing again, but with the present government, you know. I went to many interviews with ministers and everything, and I'm lobbying for a new visa law for sadhus or for those who like Hindu culture. And I'm not doing it for ourselves only, I'm doing it for all the people who are interested in Indian culture. So this is one of the reasons why I'm hanging around with these people. And then again, also, of course, Vaishnava demeanor. I'm not a Vaishnava and less a great Vaishnava, but I see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he behaved very humble with the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and with all the others, and I am there, and I'm like in the midst of simple controversy. A simple controversy, this is not large. Because the impersonalist philosophy, it is very simple. They don't have very deep, grounded, psychological explanations about the rasa tattva, for example, the adi ras. They don't deal with such topics. They deal with sayings like once I went to Dayananda Saraswati, who was at that time, no, he left the body. He was the chief leader of the Acharya Sabha. Means he invited all the Acharyas of all India to Hyderabad for a big convention. And I knew one of his administrators, and I said, I would like to go there too. So first they said, no, this is only for India. I said, well, we have temples in South America. So finally, they gave me permission to assist as a witness. I wasn't allowed to speak. So, but I went to Hyderabad and I listened to the 3 days of the Acharya Sabha, and Dayananda Saraswati was the leader, unquestionable. And he was also a big yogi, had temples in the United States also. Anyhow, so I saw what it was like, and they got a little upset with me there, because whenever the meeting was finished, there were many meetings, all the press was coming to me because I was the only white guy. So all the press was, what do you think, and how are you doing? And so I was giving lots of interviews, and they went on the main newspapers, and they thought, this guy was a witness. But it happened, so my karma was... Anyhow, so I asked Swami Dayananda for a personal interview, and he gave it to me. He said, you have to come to Rishikesh, where he has his main ashram. So I actually went there. That was still at the time I was trying to get help for the Vrindavan situation. That's part of the 7 years struggling against the pillars in the Yamuna and the overall attention to the holy rivers. Now, that is accomplished because even though the impersonalists, they don't really pay attention to Vrindavan by tradition. They're Shaiva Bhaktas, they go to Varanasi. Varanasi is their holy place. And Rishikesh and Haridwar. The rest, especially the North Indian sadhus, they don't pay attention. So, but maybe because of our intervention or just simply on principle, now that they're in political power, they are always saying Ganga Yamuna. And it's very interesting, the Indian anthem, it says Yamuna Ganga. It first mentions Yamuna and then Ganga. Mm-hmm. And when I say that to them, they go, So we have to take care of Yamuna. Ganga, Yamuna is a tributary of Ganga. So it's like connected. Anyhow, in those days I was really, really trying to get some support. So that's why I went to speak to Dayananda. At the same time, I also had different agendas. For example, in this Acharya Sabha meeting, they had the principle that no mission is invited to participate who doesn't have roots in a 500-year tradition. So, and Gaudiya Math was not invited. Neither were any of those popular modern gurus invited. It was only those akharas and these old Indian temples. No, they were invited. So when I spoke to Dayananda Saraswati, first of all, I went there and I had to listen to his class because I was going there. It was like a courtesy. You can't come there and say, "I want to talk to you about it. I want to listen to your class." No. So I went to his class, and here I was sitting, and it was a room quite full of people, and he was given like 4 times in this class the example, which we know very well, of the pot. That which is contained in the pot and that what's outside of the pot, that's one. When you break the pot, the air inside the pot, air outside the pot. So that was his example of the soul in the body and the substance of Brahman outside. And I know he was preaching to me because he always kept like looking a little bit on the side glance, because it was like an ABC Mayavadi example, and he mentioned it 4 times in his class, and I went like, yeah, okay, let's get over with this one so I get my talk. Anyhow, that was this type of situation, I've been confronted with that. Mayavadi is preaching a little bit Mayavad to me, but I also challenge them. I challenged the Shankaracharya in Rishikesh also. You were there?
Yes.
So, it's not that I'm just sitting quietly and singing Lord Nishingadev's glories and things like that. Anyhow, I haven't had any success like Lord Chaitanya had of converting anybody towards. The only success I have that they accept me amongst themselves, which is very difficult because they're very. Well, recently we had one experience I told you before, that how they were taking me to one big sadhu meeting and they changed my seating 4 times because they couldn't figure out why I was sitting in front with the Mahamandaleshwaras of India, It was funny. Anyway, funny. And so when I spoke to Dayananda Saraswati, I said, how is it that we want to restore Hinduism and we are not including those who are spreading Hinduism right now, like the Gaudiya Math? So he went like thinking, he said, yes, he said, actually you were right. He said, but if we include the Gaudiya Math, we will only include those who are in charge of the original Gaudiya Math and not the new branches, because he knows what's going on, not the new branches. I said, but the new branches are dynamic and successful. The old branch is just somebody sitting there. He said, but we cannot come down to include all the people who are working with Hindu philosophy today, because it would diminish his importance. That's finally there was an ego question. No, we want to be, even though funnily enough, well, he's a follower of Shankaracharya. No, he was so, but he wasn't officially connected to Shankaracharya Math. He was one of the offsprings of the Shankaracharya. He wasn't a Jagat Guru Shankaracharya. It's just one of the followers. So many people like Maharishi Yogi also said he followed Shankaracharya. But Shankaracharya never accepted Maharishi Yogi or any of this popular like Deepak Chopra and Rishi Ravi Shankar, even though they're greatly popular, but they're not really accepted from that level. But now it's all a hodgepodge. It's all coming together, and there's people amongst them like Jaggi Vasudeva, who sometimes really talks nonsense. But he's like the top Indian guru today. He's a very eloquent speaker, and he is pretty fearless. He's very proud of not having read the Vedas and things like that, and never visited a temple neither, but he made a huge Shiva statue there in his ashram, which is like, you cannot figure it out. It's very difficult to figure out the Indian standards of Hinduism. But in the end of the day, they sometimes say, we are not a religion, we are a lifestyle. So they juggle it forward and back according to the convenience. No? Just like Prabhupada did, sometimes he says we are not Hindus, and then another moment he says yes, but we are from the Hindu culture. So it's somewhat necessary to be and not to be. It's a little bit of achinta beda veda. You are and you are not, because you have to maintain your individual identity as well. But at the same time, you also have to rely. Like if you say in Krishna consciousness, we are not Hindus, and say, what right you have to use the Bhagavad Gita then? That is coming up from the Hindustan government of the Mahabharata time. So it doesn't work, We are representatives, and of course there's many schools and many interpretations for the last thousands of years. So it's not really surprising. Still, personally, I really love Hinduism, despite of the certain things which I do not like. But the principle of it, I like that there is a transcendental philosophy which tells us about the Supreme Lord, and that we should serve Him, and that we should help humanity, and nobody should suffer from our hands or our mind or our words, and nobody should be in misery, and everybody should live healthy, and everybody has a right for his own conviction. No, we don't want people to be manipulated and psychologically controlled to not have their own mental capacities functioning. This is slavery, hypnosis, or anything. Not even NLP is appreciated. NLP, you say in English?
NLP.
Yeah, it's not appreciated. I mean, if you want to just keep speaking the same mantra, you want to memorize it, like we did the other day, Vasudeva Para Veda, Vasudeva Para Maka, Vasudeva Para Yoga, Vasudeva Para Kriya, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapa, Vasudeva Para Dharmo, Vasudeva Paragati. Okay, that's okay. You can memorize a few shlokas, but not that you manipulate your thought structure according to some other structure without understanding or without believing it. It's a different story. So in this way, we do appreciate that, and we want the nectar to spread. And Krishna's making his own way. Tulsi Gabbard, you know who she is, she gave a class on the Bhagavad Gita in front of all the big Mayavadis. In Shidananda Muniji was there, Sattvi Bhagavati is there, she's also very impersonal when it comes to it. Jagat Guru was there, Dhyanananda was there, the big famous Mayavadi sadhus, and she gave 100% Vaishnava class on the Bhagavad Gita, which was so beautiful, and they were all sitting there. I was thinking, this young girl, which I knew when she was a kid, now she's smashing those guys, but by speaking the glory of Bhagavad Gita in front of them, they're sitting there, because it was a special event organized for the Bhagavad Gita glory. And the person who organized it is a woman. She likes Shidananda Saraswati Mother. I've met her many times in Rishikesh, and she's really friendly more than friendly, like loving. So there's something going on also, no? Just like now our Tulsi Gabbard is going to be the chair of the Hindu Congress. That means they're all impersonalists, and their chair is a Gaudiya Vaishnava girl who has not been born in India, not been born in a Hindu family, but she's so strong and so pure that she can chair the Hindu parliament. That is something, So I'm very happy that I'm part of the organizer of this parliament and the speaker, so I'll be meeting Tulsi there and we can discuss many other things also. Strategies. Saraswanupananda strategies. Incredible. I mean, he always stays in the back, but he gets things done in a major scale. Yes, that was the word. So this is a little bit the update of this is how this is happening, how these things are going on. I mean, I'm surprised myself. I told you once I was selected to be the presenter of 2 classes. One class was Radhanath Swami, and the other one was Yogi, who is now the next one after Dayananda Saraswati, the next appointed Acharya in this big Mayavadi organization. Both of them were giving a class, and I was requested to be the presenter. So, how was it? I have to remember. First Radhanath Swami spoke, and he gave a nice class about Krishna's holy name and everything. And then this impersonalist was the next speaker, and he tried to ridicule the chanting of Hare Krishna. He said, yes, this is also okay. You can also start your spiritual meditation, chanting some mantra, things like that, but really the gyan, the really higher realization, and he was doing like this and this. And the way he talked, it was a bit intolerable for me. But I was the presenter, so I wasn't supposed to take any sides or anything. So Radhanath Swami was sitting next to me. I said, are you going to take that? Are you going to take this guy slashing the chanting of the Maha Mantra in front of the audience? And the audience was like, I would say a majority of them were followers of Radhanath Swami who had been there, and a few others, because what's happening in the International Yoga Festival is so many yogis, so many famous yogis come, and many of them bring their own audience with them. And otherwise, it's very expensive to go to this yoga festival. So there's not many people just coming to kind of nibble a little here and nibble a little there. So there aren't so many people in the events, so to say. No, it's like everything in this world is a certain kind of show. The International Yoga Week is also some kind of show, but well organized. My God, with a president, with a prime minister of India giving a video conference on it, and so and top politicians coming. It's India, the dear India. And then, anyhow, so in this conference, it was just too much. So then, I can't.
You were sitting next to Radhanath Swami, and you said, "You're gonna take."
Yeah. I said, "Are you gonna give some feedback?" And I don't remember the exact detail. I'm sure it was filmed, but it's too much stuff. But then I got up, and when he gave, and I said, well, this is, we have here this person who is not really understanding what the first person has said, and it is something which in the end will be shown by the result, I think, no? And to see how many people are actually changing their life. And then Radhanath Swami he just started a big kirtan. So the whole thing, oh, no. And then when we were starting to talk, then all of a sudden the Swami excused himself that he was very busy with something else, no? Because he could see that things weren't going so much in the favor of his Mayavadi stuff. So he excused himself very politely, and then Ranat started a big kirtan there. That was the end of it. But just to show you, there are so many funny situations sometimes arise. And the Mayavad or the impersonalists, you know, in a certain way they're merging with each other for other purpose, for common grounds. That is what's happening right now, because what other choice we have? Even Prime Minister Modi, he was initiated by Ramakrishna Mission. He stayed there. He was an RSS volunteer, and so all his life he has been an activist and so on. But he is basically from the Vivekananda side of India, and so are most of the others. So now they're the government. The Vaishnavas have no other choice but to join with them, to have their proper defense and also the proper mood, because, for example, the BJP, the Modi's party, is defending Hinduism. Mamata Banerjee in Bengal, the chief minister, she's always doing politics with the Muslims, and she's not, even though she's supposed to be a Hindu, but she's not really coming forward and giving, because Bengal gone through a hard time, like 30 years of communist rules, and then Mamata Banerjee, and it's pretty mafia-ish, the whole thing. So if the BJP would come into Bengal, that would be a total turnaround, because BJP is much more honest. They're against corruption, but they're also still they're a political party, and they're pretty progressive, and all this. Who knows what Krishna wants? Who really knows? I don't. I cannot tell you. But I just want the devotees to be happy and to go to Vrindavan and not be disturbed and do things. And I don't know if my influence has any value in this. I really don't know. But somehow in defense of the Yamuna and the infrastructure, I have ventured this way. And I have a chance now to withdraw. I have a chance because now Vrindavan was declared a pilgrimage city, a tirtha, which we were fighting for like anything. We also wanted World Heritage Site, but World Heritage Site is less of an accomplishment than to name it as a tirtha. As a tirtha, it puts it on the same level as Haridwar and Varanasi. And that is a great accomplishment, because now they have to look after Vrindavan, because they cannot have their tirtha neglected, especially not with the Hindu government, no? They want to restore, they want to rebuild the Ram temple. So that's another great element of our culture, no? The Ram temple, which was destroyed by the Muslims, and then they made a mosque there. So at some point in the Congress government, more than 15 or 20 years ago, the Hindus just went and broke the mosque. They broke the mosque, and there was a big world from Ram Bhumi Mandir case, and it became a big court case, and around 500 Hindu temples were broken by Muslims as in revenge. So it was a big thing. And Congress, who wants to be like the mediator, that's the Congress party, no? They said, okay. Now the mosque was broken, so no new mosque was made, but also no Hindu temple. But the Hindu says, this is the place where Ramachandra was born, and there must be a Ram temple. So they insist, and they will do it now. That's for sure. They will make a glorious Ram temple there. So, But this is history, you know, this is heavy, heavy, heavy history. It's the aftermath of 1,000 years of colonialization, you know. Finally, the Hindus get some strength together to defend their side. First time Britishers and Muslims, they were like ruining purposefully Hindu tradition. So now they have accepted Vrindavan as a Tirtha in Varshana as well, and the local people are also rising. I was doing more activism than most people, but now they are rising and they are Hindus. They are working now with the government. So my position is really becoming almost obsolete. But I don't know, I won't stop yet until I see the final result achieved of clean Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan, Braj Vrindavan Act now was our push. Pushing all of them, the politicians, the organizations, the temples and everyone. So anyhow, if it is accomplished, then we will concentrate on other topics. Like the United Nations of the Spirit is a much more delightful subject because it's looking care of Mother Earth and not only Braj Mandal. What is Braj Mandal? It's important for the Vaishnavas and important for the Hindu traditions, but it's not important for the whole world. And so why should I work my life, my energy just for Braj Mandal? I would rather work for the whole world, benefit like Prabhupada worked for the whole world. He came from Vrindavan, but he he didn't say much about it, but by his work, Vrindavan has turned around upside down. The whole thing has changed. The whole world is changing by Prabhupada. So in this way, okay, whatever will come from that, who can tell? Who can know? So in this way, we are still engaged, seeing what's developing there right now. I think in 3 years you won't recognize Vrindavan positively. There's so many good things happening. And we are in a very good situation. Now, Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha is another thing. Oh, this is another work. I'm going to go on with that because that's the backbone for our Vaishnavas in the West, that we have the backing of an Indian organization which is started by our Jiva Goswami Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is very important for this, because you see, in our world today, we have confusions. And one confusion is Gaudiya Math broke apart. Well, how did it break apart? It branched out, really. First there were 2 main branches, and then there are many more branches. It branched out, period. Then one of the branches is ISKCON, and that became a very big branch. But that branch doesn't want to accept Gaudiya Math very much. They do not recognize the other branches, which is very ridiculous. Now, since I was an ISKCON member, I joined Krishna consciousness through ISKCON, and I left the institutional organization. Then I was kind of out of a clear identity. Where's my root? Where's my connection? So I took sannyas from Srila Maharaj. That was a very nice connection. There I was connected to the tree again. To the tree pre-ISKCON. Good. In a sense, you know. But that wasn't enough. We had to represent something which in the world will be acceptable. So that is the Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha, which was taken up and defended, and it took me easily, say, 24 years to get it moving. Now slowly it's moving. Oh, there was a lot of ego stuff going on, especially Westerners, Easterners. Can the Westerners be Vaishnavas? The whole stupid prejudice which is there, we had to confront. Anyhow, it's moving now, but it still needs much more input. But legally it's moving, it's registered. Publicity-wise, it's moving, because Veena and the sub-pages of Veena are the only unified Vaishnava picture. You will not find in the internet anybody else even attempting of creating a unified Vaishnava picture. And that was initiated by us. Now I also became a member of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. That is more for the preaching in South America, to give in the eyes of the government, because in the eye of the religionists, they may consider Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha as an important root connection for all the Vaishnavas in the world. Because while I'm providing this shelter to Vrinda members, I'm creating the same shelter for Siddha Swarupananda's group and Jagat Guru Nishinga Maharaj's group and all these groups. They're all getting the same benefit. So in that sense, I can say I'm doing something for many people. And so, but by joining the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, I'm established something more the government, like the South American government, is going to take serious. Because they say, oh, this is an Indian major organization, connect with the government, and they're teaching. This is Hinduism. You cannot go to the schools and teach what British or what the universities teach about Hinduism, because it's wrong. This is what you have to teach. And this already includes the Vaishnavas. Because in the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, even though they have a little impersonal tendency, they are impartial and they're presenting in their educational program the Vaishnavas together with the Mayavadis as one. So we are one, we are part of the tree of India's spiritual tradition. So that's why I accepted to be that. And I want to create very clear roots and branches around the world so that devotees are more protected. That they are more protected, and that they, because you know, when you're working in fanatic countries, I mean, some countries are still so crazy, if you even preach Bhagavad Gita, they can cut your head, you know. I mean, the world is still a mad place. And as it is a mad place, we should have a very strong support. And that strong support needs some strong connections. Anyhow, this is a little bit of the day by day going on in history and that. Now we're going to talk something else, something very practical. You know, I'm going to La Palma because I have to do something in regards to our future plans in La Palma. Now, the future plans in La Palma have come down in importance because Krishnadas and Bhavani, they found a place which is a potential Mela place for the Canary Islands. It's big, it's beautiful, and it looks like we are going to get it. Huh? No. So it looks, by Krishna's grace, we will get it. So that means our search for a Mela event place has come to an end. Nevertheless, I'm going to La Palma because Tulsi is there. She has a very nice ashram. Govinda is there. He has some plan. And of course, in the last instance, there's no reason why we have no place like this in the Gran Canary Island, in Gran Canaria, or in any other island. But here in Gomera, we are going to have it, period. No argument. Krishna's mercy, it will be there. So the other places, they have restrictions, construction restrictions. It's all like a little half-made. You have to kind of hide and things like that. But Anyhow, so we're gonna go to La Palma and gonna look, but there has been several problems, and the problem is delay in La Palma. Tulsi has to go to the doctor for Thursday, and also they have announced a big tormenta. I don't know what it means, but a storm.
Windstorm for tomorrow.
She said
There
for
is-
several days.
There is, no, it's for 2 days, like a semáforo, amarillo, naranja y rojo. Hoy es aviso amarillo, mañana es aviso naranja y ya.
So it's a storm situation there, rain and storm. So it will not be so pleasant to be there, and we cannot really do what we want to do there. So this has created a planning.
Change.
No, it's like it's not fully decided yet. But there's another problem that Tulsi cannot really receive us before Friday. And if we stay as a big group, then her place is the best, because Govinda's place is only, he has 6 beds. So by decent normal sleeping arrangement, 6. Now, you know, devotees with a sleeping bag, they arrange anywhere. They can sleep, and it's no problem. And if we really want to, we could still go and accept all the austerities which come along with it. But how much we really want to do that is another question, especially talking about those who are not part of the plan, no? Like some of the people are not necessary to do all this, no? It's like my, how you call it, the entourage. My entourage. Now, already entourage is decreasing because German party is going back today, right?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
So that's 1, 2, 3 or more.
More, I guess.
Huh?
Vrindavaneshwari and Radhakunda, they also fly the same flight with us on the 16th. So they should also go today, because tomorrow in the morning is our flight. So we should go today.
Oh, the girls from Medellin, you're going to export them to Berlin.